Hi, I'm Matt, a distribution engineer at OPPD. Let's talk about underground and overhead power lines. What are they? Well, the names speak for themselves. Overhead power lines are strung between power poles and are in plain sight. Underground power lines, or cables, are buried and out of sight to the general public.
Underground lines are just that, underground. They are often found in commercial areas and newer residential neighborhoods. But it's important to remember that overhead distribution lines often feed these underground areas from the outer edges. In the underground areas, the power lines are also buried between the home and the transformer that serves it. Overhead power lines like these serve most OPPD residential customers. This type of power line is found in the more established residential areas of Omaha. Underground power lines were not cost-effective or common at the time these overhead lines were installed. Overhead and underground power lines each have their own challenges and benefits.
When bad weather strikes, like a snowstorm or thunderstorm, overhead lines can be impacted by nearby trees. A branch making contact with an overhead power line can cause an outage. But on the upside, because these lines are so visible, problem areas are easier to identify and repair. Power restoration can take minutes or hours depending on the damage. In some densely populated areas, repairs must be made on a house-by-house basis. That takes time. Generally speaking, overhead lines are less costly to repair and maintain since we do not need to dig to provide service or locate trouble.
While neighborhoods with underground service typically have fewer and smaller trees, they can experience outages from straight-line winds impacting overhead feeder lines in open areas. Repairing an underground power line has its own challenges, namely locating the problem area. These repairs can take hours, depending on the damage and how easily crews can access the line. However, underground systems have redundancy or secondary systems built in. That means power can be rerouted to an outage-affected area while repairs are made.
So why doesn't OPPD bury more of its power lines? The answer is simple: cost. Underground power lines are much more expensive to install than overhead power lines. And once other utilities are located underground, it becomes even more expensive with the additional coordination. OPPD is required to serve all residential customers in our service territory. Whether that's overhead or underground depends on location. As we've discussed, several factors go into that decision, but each type of distribution line has its own pros and cons.
Thanks for watching. For more information, visit oppdthewire.com.